Hey everybody, how is it going today? This video is going to be on Palantir, ticker symbol PLTR. They're going to be out with earnings tomorrow morning, so I want to go over that and tell you what I think could be happening next. Plus, the stock is currently falling, so I'm going to let you know if I'm buying more or not, but spoiler alert, yeah, I am. And then after that, I'm going to get into some of your questions. Now, if you're new to my channel, I've been trading and investing for over 20 years, and in every video, I'll show you some of the potential trades and investments that I see setting up. So if that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any future trading or investing ideas. And I also have a Patreon group, so if you would like to be a part of our community and see what we are buying and selling in real time, that link is in the description. All right, so Palantir Technologies reports first quarter earnings before the market open on Tuesday. Analysts estimate Palantir's earnings of 4 cents a share on revenue of $332.2 million for the quarter that ended March 31st. Palantir stock sold off when it reported December quarter earnings on lower than expected 2021 revenue guidance. So their guidance is going to be key. Now, Palantir stock is selling off again today along with many other software growth stocks once again. Palantir hit an all-time high of $45 a share on January 27th, but the software stock has retraced approximately 60% from that high. Now, even after the correction, Palantir stock trades at a high multiple of estimated revenues, says Jefferies analyst Brent Thill in a note to clients. The note also said that overall multiples of the software stocks have contracted 18% thus far in 2021, taking a breather from their expansion of 56% in 2020 and 26% in 2019. So, they were definitely due for a pullback, and I think that's all this is just a pullback in the overall uptrend. Now, he added that the 5 highest value names trading on a multiple of estimated 2022 revenue under their current coverage are Snowflake, Cloudflare, CrowdStrike, Palantir, and Datadog. Now, Cloudflare stock popped on Friday after reported better than expected earnings, but has now since sold off hard. Now, government agencies use Palantir software for intelligence gathering, counterterrorism, and military purposes, but the software maker aims to expand into the healthcare, energy, and manufacturing sectors. Heading into Palantir's earnings report, the software stock owns a relative strength rating of 70 out of a best possible 99 on the Investor's Business Daily's rating system. For the December quarter, Palantir reported a profit of 6 cents per share, including stock-based compensation, and revenue climbed 40% to $322 million. All right, guys, let's get into this chart and see if we can determine what could be coming next. But first, if I could ask you for a favor, this does take a little bit for me to put together, so if you could like the smash button for me, I would greatly appreciate it, and Palantir would greatly appreciate it, because, this chart is not looking so good at the moment if you are a short-term shareholder. But if you did watch my last video or my last couple of videos, I talked about how this pattern typically breaks down out of this descending triangle, and we were probably going to see the teens before too long, and that's exactly what's happening. This isn't supernatural. It's just the way these patterns tend to play out. So, I did buy some shares in the 20s, but I didn't buy everything that I wanted. I was predicting it was going to come down to the teens, and I have been buying some in the teens as well. And I actually bought some today right at the low at $18.18. I just put that order in because I like the sounds of it, $18.18, and actually came down to that price to the penny, and it actually executed my order. Normally, when I put an order in right at that penny, it usually never takes my order, but for some reason, it took my order. Now, do I think that's going to be the absolute low? You know, it all depends on these earnings, and the way things have been going in the market lately, it looks like it's probably not going to be the low, because it seems like stocks have been coming out, whether they beat earnings or not, they get sold off, especially if they're these high growth stocks. Now, that being said, once something starts happening like that consistently, that's usually when the big boys run it against you. So I think everybody is anticipating Palantir's earnings, whether they come out good or not. I think everybody is anticipating the market is probably going to sell this thing off. So that's one reason why I'm kind of thinking maybe they run it the other way. Maybe there's too many people getting short right now. Maybe too many people are thinking this thing is going to go down, so it wouldn't surprise me one bit if they run this thing against them tomorrow, like run it up and try to squeeze anybody who's short. Now, I don't think that's as reliable as this pattern right here, but, I mean, it's just what tends to happen in the market, so it wouldn't surprise me one bit. I have no idea what's going to happen. My personal preference is for the stock to get crushed tomorrow so I can add a lot more. And if it does get crushed tomorrow, I'm definitely going to add stock, and I'm probably going to add some long-term call options as well, depending on the price. Now, I'm going to have to wait probably a day or so for a little bit of the volatility to come out, and hopefully that will make the option prices come down a little bit. You know, I'll have to wait and see how they shape out. But that is my plan if it does get crushed. If they run it the other way and you know, try to squeeze out all the shorts, I have a pretty decent sized position so far, so I'm gonna see how it plays out. I probably won't buy tomorrow if it does gap up, but we'll have to see how that plays out. Now, let's look at this chart. Let me break it down to the hourly chart, and let's see if we can find an area where Palantir, you know, where the bleeding might stop. Now, one of the reasons why I put in that order right around 18.18 is because we did have this support level right around $18 or so. So I wanted to be a little bit above it, and you know, like I said, I just happened to get lucky and grab that at least at the low for today. I mean, obviously this is intraday, so the stock could certainly roll over and take out that low. But the next area I would be looking at would be right here, right around $16 a share. So that's another pretty significant drop from here. If the stock gaps down tomorrow and it gaps down higher than $16 a share and continues lower, this is where I would expect that bounce to occur. Now, it all depends on how heavy that sell-off is. If it sells off quite a bit and it starts to dissipate and it's above 16, I do think you'll definitely get a bounce at 16, but if it's just crashing on big volume, 16 is not going to stand much of a chance. It'll probably blast right through that. So, my prediction for tomorrow's earnings are, I really don't know. I'm thinking that more than a 50% chance, it wouldn't surprise me if they ran this up and tried to squeeze out everybody, anticipating the market selling off these numbers. Now, Palantir has been saying if you want to invest for the short term, you don't want to be in our stock because the numbers aren't going to be so great because they are doing a lot of investing in their own business. So, I mean, the numbers could be, you know, they could disappoint and this thing could go down. I mean, I think it has a higher chance of going down, but it wouldn't surprise me one bit if they do smoke it higher. I know this doesn't make a whole lot of sense right now. If there wasn't so many stocks getting crushed after earnings, I would say there is a very high probability this thing is going to get sold off on the earnings. But so many of these high growth stocks are just getting crushed after earnings. So if I was a big boy, I would think that a lot of the retail people are going to be anticipating a move down. I would use this opportunity to run it against them. But we definitely will see. Gosh, I just don't know. I just know that I'm going to be a buyer if it does gap down, and if it ends up gapping up, I'm going to be in wait and see mode. So hopefully that added just a little bit of insight. I know it was a little wishy-washy, but I just got this feeling that, man, they're going to run this thing against the shorts tomorrow if the earnings are even okay, just because they have been, you know, just killing everybody after they come out with earnings. But we will see. All right, so let's get into the question of the day, and this was from Elon Molina. If I'm saying that wrong, I apologize, but the question was, they believe a correction is coming in 3 to 6 months, and they're wondering if they should hold the SQQQ or not. Now, if you're not sure what a correction is, as Peter Lynch used to say, a correction is a euphemism for losing a shitload of money rapidly. But a correction, I believe by definition, is a decline of 20% or more. And the SQQQ is the triple inverted fund, the triple short of the QQQ, so the triple short of the NASDAQ. Now, the SQQQ loses value every single day. So this is not something you want to hold for the long term unless you know the market is going to continue going down fast. So if the market just goes sideways, if the QQQ just goes sideways, the SQQQ will actually lose a little bit of value every single day. So you only want to be in this when the market is definitely going down. Now, that being said, in today's day is actually the day when I would like to be buying the SQQQ, so I might end up buying a product like this when I'm done with the video. What I like to see is the SQQQ break above this white line, this 8-period exponential moving average, and also the purple line, which is the 21-period exponential moving average, and hold for several days. Then I like to see a move back below the line and then a move right back above it, just like we're getting today. You know, if I back this chart out just a little bit, you can see this tends to jump above this 8-period exponential moving average just for a day or so all the time, and then it fails and it just continues lower. Now, this was kind of a false move back in February because it jumped above it, held it for a few days, broke down below it, jumped right back above that 8-period exponential moving average. Even though, you know, you could have made a pretty decent amount of money if you timed this correctly. I usually like to see this go a little bit further to the upside, of course. I like to time it a little bit better for when the market is rolling over. Now, you never know how far the market is going to roll over. But if you would have bought on this day right here, you definitely could have got out for a 10% gain or more if you were nimble enough. But it did eventually turn back around. But that being said, this is the kind of day when I do like to enter, because if you do get some follow through to the downside on the NASDAQ, which we are looking like it definitely could be, the NASDAQ is pretty weak. So if you're not in this already, this is the kind of day where I like to buy. If you are already in it, you might as well just stay in it and see how far it goes. But if the market starts to peter out and then starts to turn back up, and this SQQQ gets back below that 8-period exponential moving average, you really want to consider getting out of it. You don't want to hold this for the long term, especially if it starts going against you, because not only will you be losing value on the Qs, if the Qs start going up, this will start losing value, but you're also going to lose the value every day, where a little bit of value comes out of this product. Now, it's kind of funny that you were asking about that on a day like today, where today kind of goes down. Let me jump over to the QQQ. This is the type of market environment where it's pretty difficult to trade, because let me back the chart out just a little bit here, because the market is kind of acting typically what it does in year 2 of a bull market. You know, you had this big run off of the huge down move after the COVID collapse. And year 1, you usually have that big upward thrust, and then in year 2, it kind of goes sideways. So it's pretty difficult to it's kind of a stock trader's environment, but it's kind of it's pretty difficult to be a trend follower, because usually in year 2 you get chopped up quite a bit. You know, let's go back to the financial crisis. Let me go back to the weekly chart here and back it out and show you a little bit more of what I'm talking about. Let me back it all the way back to the financial crisis bottom. Zoom in a little bit here, but you can see through the first year, this bottomed in 3/13 of 09. So if we go to 4 of 2010, you can see right through here is when it was pretty difficult to be a trend follower. It's pretty difficult to be in stocks because you kind of got chopped up quite a bit. So I mean, right now, it looks like stocks are acting pretty typical of year 2 of an expansion. You know, we go back to the other bottom that we had during the tech wreck. You know, this was the NASDAQ, how it had that crash from 2000 all the way down to 03 where it bottomed. So let me zoom in a little bit more here. So this was the absolute bottom, and this was in October of 02. So if we go to October of 03, you can see that going forward, it was pretty choppy. So you can see in this type of environment, it's going to be pretty difficult to get in a stock that continues to go up. We're going to get chopped out of a lot of stuff, and I think this is the perfect environment to be looking for some good growth stocks that are kind of getting getting thrown out with all the other growth stocks that are going down. Pick the best ones, because these ones are probably going to be on sale. That's one of the reasons why I'm grabbing some Palantir. I'm grabbing some Clean Spark, because they're kind of getting, sent down just like a lot of stocks that probably deserve it more. So you want to pick the best ones. And you also want to pick the stocks that are being rotated into, like a lot of these dividend-paying stocks. I have 3M, which is doing super well. Let me jump over to that chart real quick. And let me go back to the current price. Sorry if this is making you a little bit dizzy here. I'm doing this on the fly. Go back to the daily chart. You can see that dividend-paying stocks like 3M are continuing to outperform. Another one that I have that's outperforming is Kraft Heinz. These are the stocks that are in favor right now, and the high growth stocks are out of favor. Also, the energy stocks are in favor. So what you want to do is do a little bit of rotation into some of these sectors that are in favor, and then you also want to take a look at some good growth stocks that are getting crushed, and try to pick them up while they're out of favor right now, so you can hold on to those for the long term. But I know I'm getting a little bit off the question here, but I just wanted to make that note that year two of a bull market is usually pretty tough to be a trend follower, especially if you're looking at the stocks that were the strongest in the initial move up. The strongest stocks that were came off the COVID bottom, that were the strongest. They're starting to be a little bit out of favor. A lot of those NASDAQ stocks are starting to go out of favor, so you got to rotate into some of these other sectors that are outperforming. But hopefully that didn't take too long, and hopefully that answered your question. All right, guys, well, that's all I have for this video, so I'm going to end it right there. But if you have any questions about any of these stocks, or if you have any other stocks you want me to take a look at, please leave them down there in the comment section. I will get to them as soon as I can. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching my video all the way to the end, guys, and until next time, take care.